to the show!
Stanley, however, rarely speaks with the band's other two original members, guitarist Ace Frehley and drummer Peter Criss, who left in the 80s.
Gene Simmons said they're not fit to wear the makeup anymore.
Well, it's a great soundbite.
Do you agree with it?
I agree that they don't belong in the band, and they don't belong in a position to represent the band. We were asked by the Hall of Fame to have the original members put on the makeup and play with us. We're not other bands. You can't just have guys get up there. We're not in blue jeans. We have a uniform that represents who we are. If the original lineup goes up for the sake of nostalgia, for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who I scratch my head about in the first place, I run the risk of negatively impacting what I've spent 40 years doing.
For old time's sake, one more time, you wouldn't want to do that?
How many times have you been married?
Twice.
How about for old time's sake, you go back and spend the night with your ex-wife?
That's the way you look at it.
That's the way you look at it. You wouldn't make good music. A rule is a rule, and it either applies to everybody or it's just favoritism hiding behind bureaucracy. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, thankfully, is becoming much more obvious to the public of what it is, and that's a private club where a few people make decisions to their liking. It's a very, very small group of people, many of them clueless, and many of them sadly elitist, who basically have this private club of theirs. I think they've run out of most of the people that they want in their little club, and the absurdity is not lost on the public. So when you have a band like us who have been neglected or denigrated for 14 years, all of a sudden, grudgingly, they have to let us in. It's not an honor to me. For some of the fans, it means a lot. Some of them see it as validation. And for them, I accept the award. We have people who were in the band through multi-platinum albums, played to millions of people, and they've been basically ignored. We will be there. I will certainly be there, and we'll be there to accept the award. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame may think that they're celebrating. Well, I wouldn't call it celebrating, because for them it's anything but a celebration. But for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they may feel that it's about the four original members. I'm only there to celebrate 40 years of KISS and everything that's gone into it. They can make it what they want to, but the tail doesn't wag the dog, and we're the dog, and they're a little tail.
Will you play?
No, because they wanted to do it their way. They wanted to create a nostalgic circus that would sell tickets, and I didn't want any part of that.
Rock and Roll All Night brings you interviews, reviews, concerts, music, and more. So for more Rock and Roll All Night content, click subscribe.